Welcome back, everybody. Today we're taking a deep dive into the world of Krishna.
A figure who, I think it's safe to say, continues to fascinate and inspire.
Exactly. Our source material for this deep dive is a conversation between Ranveer Alabadiya and Devi Chitralekhaji.
From his YouTube channel.
Right.
Yeah.
And our mission, to unpack the essence of Krishna, going beyond just the surface level, to uncover, I think, some hidden gems of wisdom.
Absolutely.
So we're going to connect these ancient stories and teachings to your life today.
Right.
And see how they might offer some guidance and inspiration.
Yeah.
Think of it like your shortcut to a deeper understanding of Krishna and his relevance in the modern world.
I love that. Bridging the ancient and the contemporary.
All right. Let's jump right in.
Okay.
I'm sure you've heard the phrase Radhe Radhe.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you've seen anything about Vrindavan.
Uh-huh.
But why is it so prevalent there? What's the deeper meaning?
Well, it all goes back to the profound connection between Radha and Krishna. In Vrindavan, there's this deep-seated belief that Krishna is irresistibly drawn to the name Radha, like ants to sugar.
Wow. That's a really powerful image.
Yeah.
So by invoking Radha's name, people are essentially calling out to Krishna.
Right.
In the sweetest way possible.
Precisely. It highlights the significance of Radharani.
Okay.
And speaks to the depth of their bond, a connection that goes far beyond any ordinary relationship.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
And speaking of connection,
Yeah.
Devi Chitralekhaji offers this wonderfully reassuring idea
Okay.
that once Krishna enters your life, he never leaves you. Have you ever felt that kind of presence in your own life?
Oh, yeah.
Like that sense of divine presence?
It's an incredibly comforting thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
This belief stems from the idea of Krishna as a divine thief
Okay.
who steals hearts and never lets go. And what's fascinating is that Ranveer Alabadiya himself describes feeling a renewed sense of Krishna's presence in his life.
Really? Almost like Krishna is returning after a brief absence.
Wow.
So it's beautiful.
I've heard other people describe that.
Yeah.
That sense of a divine presence, even when you might feel lost or uncertain.
Right.
It's incredibly powerful.
Absolutely. It's a beacon of hope reminding us that we're not alone. You know, there's this guiding force, a divine energy that's always with us, supporting us, and loving us unconditionally.
That brings me to another point that really resonated with me.
Okay.
This emphasis on inner strength over material possessions.
Yeah.
Alabadiya was very open about his struggles with anger and stress. And it seems like this message of finding strength within deeply resonated with him.
You know, it's a central theme in many spiritual traditions. It's beautifully articulated here.
Yeah.
Devi Chitralekhaji offers a fantastic analogy.
Okay.
Just as we need to nourish our physical bodies with food, we also need to nourish our souls with spiritual practices.
Okay.
With connection, with love.
Yeah.
She calls it feeding the soul with devotion.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like recognizing we have this inner dimension that needs tending to just as much as our physical bodies.
Exactly.
And through that connection with the divine, with Krishna in this case,
right,
we tap into this wellspring of inner strength and peace.
Okay.
Now, I know a lot of people are curious about astrology. Some even feel anxious about it.
Yeah.
But Devi Chitralekhaji offers a really refreshing perspective.
Right.
She sees it as a guideline, not a dictator of our destinies. She actually reveals that she's never even had her own astrological chart read.
It's incredibly empowering, right?
Yeah.
It suggests that while astrology can provide potential insights, it doesn't define us.
Yeah.
We have the power to make different choices, change our habits, and ultimately shape our own futures. It's about focusing on what we can control.
Rather than getting caught up in predictions.
It reminds me of that famous quote, the stars incline us, they do not bind us.
Right.
So it's about taking ownership of our lives.
Yeah.
Rather than feeling like we're just puppets of fate.
Precisely. We have agency.
Right.
And that's a powerful thing.
Now, you know how some deities appear in different forms? Well, Krishna is considered the complete package.
Yeah.
Purna avatar.
Right.
Experiencing everything we do. From joy to sorrow. It's not just about being this distant, perfect God.
Right.
But about being fully human with all the joys and sorrows that come with it.
Yes. He laughs.
Yeah.
He cries. He feels anger. And that makes him so relatable. so accessible to us as human beings.
Yeah.
We see ourselves reflected in his stories, making the teachings even more powerful.
What I find intriguing is that even the characters who seem antagonistic towards Krishna, like Putana and Kamsa, who tried to kill him as a baby, they're part of his divine play.
Yeah.
They're not just randomly evil, right?
Devi Chitralekhaji dives into this idea that even those who appear to oppose Krishna are woven into the tapestry of his story for a reason. They have their roles to fulfill, their lessons to teach. And it's believed that their connection to Krishna goes way back, past lives and karmic ties, all playing out in this grand cosmic drama.
It's like this intricate dance where every step, every interaction has a deeper meaning.
Beautiful.
And speaking of dance, even when Krishna is facing challenges, he never loses that sense of inner peace. Devi Chitralekhaji talks about how even in the midst of conflict, Krishna is known for his serene smile.
She uses this powerful example of Jarasanda's description of Krishna, even while facing intense conflict. Jarasandha observes Krishna's unwavering smile.
Wow.
It highlights his ability to find joy and serenity in even the most trying situations.
That's incredible. So even when faced with negativity, Krishna never loses that inner peace. Do you think that's something we can learn to cultivate in our own lives?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It points to a deep connection with the divine that allows him to remain calm and even joyful amidst adversity. It's a profound reminder that we too can tap into that wellspring of inner peace, no matter what challenges we face.
And speaking of negativity, Devi Chitralekhaji touches on something that's become quite common online. This pitting of deities against each other.
This is tough.
Yeah, it's disheartening to see, isn't it?
It is.
This whole my God is better than your God mentality.
It's a real shame.
Yeah.
She dismantles this beautifully. Emphasizing the unity within Sanatana Dharma. Using the example of Krishna and Shiva's mutual respect and affection. She reminds us that there's no need for competition or comparison.
It's like saying, hey, don't tit these deities against each other. They're all part of the same divine family. It's a powerful message, especially in today's world. It's about finding the common threads that unite us rather than the differences that might divide us.
Exactly. And I think that's a valuable lesson for all of us to approach different paths and traditions with respect and appreciation. Recognizing the underlying unity that connects us all.
We could all use a little more of that unity these days.
No, could.
But on a personal level, how do we deal with criticism and judgment? Especially when it feels like it's coming from all sides. No matter what you do. It seems like someone's not going to be happy.
It's a common struggle. And Devi Chitralekhaji addresses it brilliantly using the parable of Shiva and Parvati. Riding on Shiva's bull. No matter how they position themselves, someone in the village had something negative to say. The lesson. It's futile to try to please everyone.
It's like that saying, you can be the juiciest peach in the world, and there's still going to be someone who hates peaches.
Exactly. It's a humorous but insightful reminder that external validation can be fleeting. True fulfillment comes from aligning with our own inner compass, even if it means facing criticism.
So it's about finding that inner strength, that sense of purpose that guides our actions, rather than constantly seeking approval from others.
Precisely. And it's not just online criticism we need to navigate. Alabadia talks about experiencing offline trolling.
Oh, really?
Those subtle attempts to undermine his work. Devi Chitralekhaji reminds us that what's truly meant for us can't be taken away.
It's like that idea that what's for you won't go by you.
Exactly.
Even when things don't go according to plan. There's a greater force at work guiding us towards our destiny. But sometimes those detours can feel like tests, like Krishna is deliberately putting obstacles in our path.
That's a fascinating concept she brings up. The idea that Krishna tests his devotees to help them grow stronger. And she uses two powerful analogies to illustrate this point. A potter testing a clay pot, and a father distributing weight based on his son's strength. The tests are not meant to break us, but to refine us.
So even in those challenging moments, there's a purpose, a deeper meaning. It's about seeing those challenges as opportunities for growth.
Right.
Rather than setbacks.
Exactly.
But honestly, sometimes I struggle to see those challenges as anything other than roadblocks.
Sure.
Like, how do we shift that perspective? How do we develop that kind of faith and resilience?
It's a journey.
Yeah.
And Devi Chitralekhaji reminds us that Bhakti devotion is a powerful tool for cultivating that inner strength. And it goes beyond formal rituals.
Okay.
It's about fostering a personal relationship with Krishna.
It sounds like a kind of spiritual friendship where you're connecting with Krishna on a heart-to-heart level.
Yeah.
Sharing your joys and sorrows.
Right.
Seeking his guidance. Like you're talking to a close friend.
Exactly. And she shares her own practice highlighting the power of chanting as a way to connect with Krishna and draw strength from his presence. She doesn't confine her chanting to specific times or places. She carries her mala with her throughout the day, finding moments to connect with Krishna whenever and wherever she can.
It's like a constant reminder of that connection, that presence that's always available to us.
Yeah.
So it's about integrating those practices into our daily lives, not just reserving them for special occasions.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Right.
It's about making bhakti an integral part of our lives, a constant source of strength and inspiration.
I love that.
Yeah.
This idea of weaving those moments of connection throughout our day.
Yeah.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground already.
We have.
And I'm already feeling inspired.
Me too.
But hold on to your hats, folks, because we've got much more to explore in the next segment.
Okay.
We'll be back after a short break.
All right.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of Krishna.
It feels like we've already uncovered so much.
Right.
But there's still so much more to explore.
There really is.
There's always more to learn when it comes to Krishna. Right. And remember, we're not just scratching the surface here. We're digging deep for those hidden gems of wisdom that can really make a difference in your life.
Speaking of hidden gems,
yeah,
let's talk about Krishna's birth story.
Okay.
It's full of twists and turns, divine intervention,
right,
and a whole lot of protection surrounding him.
It's not your average birth announcement, is it?
It's not.
No.
It's captivating.
It's a captivating tale that's been told and retold for centuries.
Right.
Reminding us that even amidst chaos, a divine plan can be unfolding. You know, Krishna is born into a pretty intense situation.
Right. His parents, Devaki and Vasudeva, they're imprisoned by his power-hungry uncle Kamsa, who's terrified of a prophecy that Devaki's 8th child will be his downfall.
So Kamsa goes on a rampage and kills Devaki's first 6 children.
It's a pretty dark backdrop to Krishna's birth.
Yeah, it's heavy stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
But remember, Krishna isn't just any ordinary child.
Right.
He's an avatar.
Right.
A divine being who chose to descend to Earth for a specific purpose.
Right.
And even before his birth, we see evidence of divine intervention.
Okay.
Devaki's 7th child, Balarama, is miraculously transferred to the womb of Rohini Vasudeva's other wife to protect him from Kamsa's wrath.
Wow. It's like the universe is orchestrating events,
No.
putting safeguards in place to ensure Krishna's safety.
Right.
It reminds us that divine intervention can happen in unexpected ways.
Yeah.
And that even when things seem hopeless, there's always a chance for a miracle. Exactly. And then we have the dramatic events surrounding Krishna's actual birth.
Right.
The prison doors magically unlock. The guards fall into a deep sleep.
Right.
And Vasudeva is able to carry the newborn Krishna across the Yamuna River to safety in Gokul.
It's a story of escape protection and divine guidance.
It is.
Wow. Talk about an epic adventure.
I know.
Even before he could walk.
Right.
It sets the stage for an extraordinary life, filled with challenges.
Yeah.
And those famous leelas or divine actions. But these leelas aren't just entertaining stories, right?
No, no.
They're full of teachings, offering us insights into Krishna's nature and the nature of reality itself.
You got it. And those teachings can have a profound impact on our lives today. Now, remember we talked about how even Krishna's antagonists play a role in his divine play.
Yeah, figures like Putana, the demoness who tried to kill Krishna with poisoned breast milk, and Kamsa himself, who ultimately met his demise at Krishna's hands. It's hard to see them as anything other than villains.
It is tough.
Yeah.
But even these seemingly negative forces serve a purpose.
Okay.
Putana, for example, represents the obstacles we face on our spiritual journey.
Right.
The tests that can either break us or make us stronger. It's a reminder that sometimes those who seem to oppose us are actually pushing us towards growth and transformation.
That's a really helpful way to reframe those difficult experiences.
Yeah.
It's not about punishment, but about refinement.
Exactly.
But what about the people who are closest to Krishna?
Okay.
His parents, his friends, his beloved Radha. They must have played a significant role in his life.
Absolutely. Krishna's story is also about love, devotion,
Yeah.
and the power of human connection.
Right.
Devi Chitralekhaji highlights the immense love he received from his adoptive parents, Yashoda and Nanda, who showered him with unconditional affection, unaware of his true divine nature.
Right.
It's a beautiful depiction of the purest form of parental love. And it underscores the idea that even a divine being chooses to experience the full spectrum of human emotions.
And then there's Radha, whose love for Krishna is legendary.
It is. Their story is one of the most cherished in Hindu mythology. Their connection goes beyond the typical romantic love story.
Right.
It transcends the physical realm, representing a profound spiritual union emerging of souls. Some even say that Radha and Krishna are ultimately one.
Really?
Their separation simply a way to enhance the divine bliss of their union.
Wow.
It's a beautiful metaphor for our own journey back to wholeness, to our connection with the divine.
Now, you mentioned earlier that Devi Chitralekhaji strongly disagrees with the idea of rivalry between deities.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Yeah, something that's sadly become quite common online.
It's a real shame.
It is.
She addresses this head-on, emphasizing the unity within Sanatana Dharma.
Right.
She uses the example of Krishna and Shiva's deep respect and affection for one another as proof that there's no need for competition or comparison. It's like saying, hey, don't pit these deities against each other.
Yeah.
They're all part of the same divine family.
It's like arguing over which ray of sunlight is the best.
Exactly.
It makes no sense.
Right.
It's about recognizing the diversity of paths and traditions and respecting the fact that they all ultimately lead to the same source.
Exactly. It's a message that's so relevant today.
Right.
As we navigate a world of increasingly polarized viewpoints, it's a reminder to focus on what unites us rather than what divides us.
And that brings us to another challenge many of us face.
Okay.
Criticism. Alabadia opens up about facing what he calls offline trolling.
Yeah.
Those subtle attempts to undermine his work. It's something we can all relate to, right?
Oh, for sure.
Whether it's online or offline. Criticism can sting.
Oh, it can.
It can be really tough to handle.
Yeah.
Especially when it feels personal.
Devi Chitralekhaji shares a great story about Shiva and Parvati.
Okay.
Riding on Nandi Shiva's bull.
Okay.
No matter how they positioned themselves, someone in the village they passed through found something negative to say.
Really?
It's funny, but also makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It highlights the futility of trying to please everyone.
Right.
No matter what you do, someone will always find fault.
Right.
The key is to not let those external opinions define you.
Right.
It's about recognizing that true fulfillment comes from aligning with your own inner compass, even if it means facing criticism.
That's easier said than done, though, isn't it?
It can be.
I know I struggle with that sometimes.
Yeah.
But Devi Chitralekhaji also reminds us that what's truly meant for us can't be taken away.
That's comforting.
It is comforting.
Yeah.
It's a comforting thought knowing that even when things don't go according to plan, there's a greater force at work.
Right.
Guiding us towards our destiny.
Right.
But sometimes that journey includes tests, right?
Oh, yeah.
Challenges that push us to our limits.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And she reminds us that these tests are not punishments, but opportunities for refinement. She uses two powerful analogies to illustrate this point.
Okay.
A potter testing a clay pot for strength, and a father distributing weight based on his son's ability.
Wow.
It's about recognizing that even in those moments of testing, Krishna is still there guiding us through the fire.
So those challenges are actually designed to make us stronger, more resilient.
More resilient, yeah.
It's a powerful shift in perspective.
It is.
But how do we actually develop that kind of faith and resilience? It feels like some people are just naturally better at handling challenges.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Right.
And bhakti devotion can be a powerful tool for cultivating that inner strength.
Right.
It goes beyond formal rituals and involves fostering a personal relationship with Krishna, like talking to a close friend,
right.
sharing your heart, and seeking guidance.
That's beautiful.
It is.
About making the bhakti an integral part of life, not just something you do on special occasions.
Right.
Devi Chitralekhaji even mentions that she carries her mala with her throughout the day, finding moments to connect with Krishna whenever and wherever she can. It's like having a constant reminder of that divine presence.
Yeah, and speaking of connecting with Krishna, Alabhadia asks a really interesting question.
Okay.
He's curious about what Devi Chitralekhaji sees or feels during those peak moments of prayer when her connection with Krishna feels most intense.
Yeah, it's something we've all probably wondered about. What happens in those moments of deep communion with the divine?
Right. And her answer is really intriguing.
Okay.
She describes her practice not as meditation, but as chintan.
Chintan.
Which means contemplating on Krishna's leelas. It's like a form of active imagination where you immerse yourself in those stories and experience them vividly, allowing yourself to be emotionally moved by them. She specifically mentions the Nikunj Leela as a powerful example.
Okay.
Now, the Nikunj Leela is a special story, one that's considered incredibly intimate and mystical. It takes place in a secluded grove where Krishna and Radha engage in a divine dance of love and devotion.
Wow.
Many see it as a representation of the soul's union with the divine, a merging of the individual self with the cosmic consciousness.
That's a beautiful image.
It is.
It's like those stories become a gateway to experiencing a deeper reality.
Exactly. And Devi Chitralekhaji emphasizes that her chintan isn't just about passively recalling these stories. She actually experiences them.
Wow.
Allowing herself to be moved to tears, to feel the depth of love and devotion that they represent.
Oh.
It's about letting go of control and surrendering to the experience.
It's fascinating how she reframes tears. They're not just a sign of sadness.
Right.
But also a way to connect with the divine, to feel the depth of that love and devotion.
Yeah, speaking of things that are often misunderstood,
right.
Alabhadia also brings up Tantra and how he's encountered resistance when discussing it with people in Vrindavan.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a topic that often gets misrepresented and sensationalized.
It does.
Yeah.
Devi Chitralekhaji explains that the bhakti-centric culture of Vrindavan might view Tantra differently from other traditions. Remember how we talked about their focus on Krishna's human qualities?
Right.
They see him as a friend, a lover, a mischievous child, a playful cowherd.
Right.
This emphasis on Krishna's human side influences their whole approach to bhakti.
Okay.
It's about experiencing that personal connection, that sense of intimacy and love that transcends formal rituals.
So in that context, practices like Tantra, with their focus on esoteric knowledge and mystical techniques, might seem out of place.
Right. It's like saying we don't need any fancy rituals or secret knowledge. We have Krishna's love, and that's enough. It's a testament to the power of simplicity and surrender in bhakti. It's about letting go of the need to control and just opening yourself to the flow of divine love, trusting that the path of the heart will lead you where you need to be.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's about finding that direct connection with the divine without all the bells and whistles.
Exactly.
But where do we find that connection? What does it look like in practice?
Well, Devi Chitralekhaji hints at something really interesting.
Okay.
The idea that there are two Vrindavans.
Two Vrindavans.
There's the Vrindavan that's typically shown to tourists.
Okay.
With its temples and crowds. And then there's a hidden Vrindavan, a place that's less about external appearances and more about inner experience.
It's like she's saying there's the postcard version. And then there's the real deal.
Yeah.
A place where Krishna's presence is still palpable.
Yes.
Where the energy of his leelas still vibrates.
Exactly. It's about experiencing Vrindavan not just as a physical place, but as a spiritual landscape, a realm of the heart.
And within this hidden Vrindavan, there's a particular temple that holds special significance. The Radha-Raman temple.
Yes. Alabhadia himself mentions having a profound experience at this temple.
Really?
Describing it as a place of unique energy and grace.
It's almost like a hidden gem within a hidden gem.
A
place where you can tap into that deeper reality, that connection with the divine that we've been talking about.
It speaks to the power of pilgrimage,
right.
Seeking out those places that resonate with us on a soul level, where we can experience those unexpected moments of grace that leave a lasting mark on our hearts. But what I find most fascinating about this conversation is that it points to something even deeper than a specific location or practice.
Right.
It's about that inner journey. That process of uncovering the divine spark within ourselves.
It's about recognizing that Krishna, that divine energy of love and wisdom, isn't just out there somewhere. It's also within each of us, waiting to be awakened.
Exactly. And our journey is about rediscovering that connection, peeling back the layers of conditioning to reveal that inherent wholeness, that sense of unity with the divine. That's our birthright.
Right.
But hold on. There's one more piece of this puzzle we need to explore.
Okay.
We'll be right back to wrap up this deep dive into Krishna's world.
Welcome back to our deep dive. It feels like we've really gone deep into the world of Krishna.
It really has been a journey.
Right. We've explored so much.
His captivating story, the profound teachings embedded within his leelas.
Right.
And that special way Bhakti is practiced in Vrindavan.
But like with any deep dive, we've only scratched the surface.
We have just scratched the surface.
Of this vast and multifaceted subject.
Of this vast subject,
I feel like we could talk about Krishna for days.
Days and days.
And still only uncover a fraction of his wisdom.
A fraction, exactly.
Before we wrap up,
I
want to circle back to something that Devi Chitralekhaji kept emphasizing. Inner strength. Something that resonates so deeply with me, especially in today's world where we're constantly bombarded with external pressures and expectations.
It's a theme that weaves through so much of Krishna's story, isn't it?
It really is.
This idea that true strength comes not from external power or possessions, but from a deep connection with the divine.
And remember that beautiful analogy she used?
Yeah.
Feeding the soul with devotion.
So simple, yet so profound.
I know.
Just as we nourish our physical bodies with food, we also need to nourish our souls with spiritual practices, with connection with love.
And Bhakti is all about cultivating that inner sanctuary where we can experience Krishna's love and grace. That's where we tap into a wellspring of strength that helps us navigate the challenges of life.
Exactly, because let's face it, life is full of challenges.
It really is.
And sometimes it feels like we're being tested to our very limits.
To our limits.
But if we can remember that those tests are opportunities for growth, for refinement, it changes everything.
It does.
Devi Chitralekhaji reminds us that those difficult experiences are not meant to break us, but to refine us.
Right.
Like fire that burns away impurities, revealing the true gold within.
It's about shifting our perspective, seeing those challenges not as roadblocks, but as stepping stones on our spiritual journey.
Exactly.
And remembering that even in the midst of those trials, we're not alone.
We're not.
Krishna is right there with us, guiding us through the fire.
That's where the power of Bhakti truly shines. It gives us the courage and resilience to face those challenges with grace, knowing that we're supported by a force greater than ourselves. It's about cultivating that unwavering faith that even in the darkest of nights, dawn will eventually break.
And that surrender, that trust, ultimately leads to a profound sense of joy and freedom.
It does.
That's what I find so inspiring about Krishna's story. He embodies this incredible balance of strength and playfulness, wisdom and compassion.
He reminds us that even amidst the chaos and uncertainty of life, there's a divine order at play. A loving presence guiding us towards our highest potential.
Right.
It's about surrendering to that presence, trusting the journey, and knowing that everything unfolds as it should.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one key takeaway you hope listeners will carry with them?
Remember that the divine spark of love and wisdom that we call Krishna is always present within you. It's about awakening to that presence in your own life, nurturing that connection, and allowing it to guide you on your journey.
It's like we've been given a treasure map, and now it's up to us to go out and discover those hidden gems for ourselves.
Exactly. And who knows? Maybe your journey will even lead you to that hidden Vrindavan, to those sacred spaces where Krishna's presence still lingers.
Right.
But even if you never physically travel there, remember that you can create that sacred space within your own heart.
What a beautiful way to end our exploration.
It is.
It's been a true privilege to dive deep into Krishna's world with you.
The pleasure was all mine.
Thank you for joining us on the Deep Dive.
See you next time.
We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration